Hey everyone, Norvex here. I just wanted to come out with a short video on the new gathering tomes coming with the Into the Fray patch next month. There's been a lot of talk about these on the different forums and discords and reddits about if they're good, if they're going to be bad. I don't really have an answer for that today. But I'll give you my thoughts, and I'm going to jump into the test server here and take a look. You'll see in a second here I actually gather one of these off of a T6 plentiful node. And that's the only one I get in the whole session that I use to test out how rare these are going to be. I'll talk more about that later. The first thing I wanted to know about these is how exactly they worked. How do they get applied against the Fame? How can I use them? And it matches up with what the patch note said, of course. You can only use them for your mastery, so you can't usually use it to unlock specialization, which is what gives you yield increase, what gives you speed increase. You can only use it to unlock the next tier of tools. So pretty much what we expected, and no surprises there. Just as an aside, you unlock the ability to use a tome by having the previous one. So like I said, straightforward. If you have T4 mining unlocked, you can now go to the market, you can buy a T5 tome, you can eat it, and now you've got more T5 mastery, and you can just keep buying tomes until you unlock it if you don't want to grind. So the next thing was how rare are these going to be. SBI said they were going to be rare. You can see here in the background I'm out gathering, and they are rare. I went out for 30 minutes. I gathered 300 ticks of T6, T7, and T8 combined, and I got one tome. It's a small sample size, but I think it gives us a good indication. We'll see when the actual patch hits on how rare they're going to be. But especially given the fact that I'm gathering in the test server, I don't have to look for nodes. I don't have to run from anyone. All the nodes are full. I'm just gathering them back to back. 300 ticks is going to take a lot longer than that in the live server. Like at least 3 times as long, I would say. So they're definitely going to be a rare item. The last thing I wanted to know, and I'll put a chart up on screen here, is how many of these are we going to need to get from T3 to T8 in a gathering skill. So as you can see up here, you're going to need 30 T4s, 94 T5s, 206 T6s, 200 T7s, and 195 T8s. That's if you don't use learning points. If you use learning points, you can see off to the right, it's 20% of that number. But it's still a lot, especially on those T7 and T8 tomes where someone actually needs to grind T7 and T8 materials to get that. If you're grinding to level up your gathering, if you want to get T8, you go out and gather T6 and T7. You don't have to gather T8. But if you want tomes, someone has to go out and gather T8 nodes enough that they get drops and they can sell you 40 of these tomes so that you can use your learning points and your 40 tomes to get to T8. That's a lot. That's a lot of grinding, and I think these are going to be very valuable items. They're going to be very hard to get, and a lot of people are going to want them. So they're going to be a very hot item, and that sort of rolls into my final thoughts on here to wrap up the video of. I think these are going to be very valuable for gatherers. They're going to add a lot to gatherers' profits because a gatherer has no use for this. They're already, if they're getting that drop, they can already gather that tier. They don't need to unlock it. So in that case, it's pure profit. You just sell it. You're not going to use it on yourself unless you want to level up an alt or something. And they're going to be very valuable. So it's a nice boost to gatherers' profits. And like I said earlier, you can't use it for your specialization. So for gatherers that are grinding, they're still going to have the edge on people who, quote, buy, unquote, their T8 gathering. They're still going to have the speed bonus that comes along with specialization. They're still going to have the bonus yield. So they're going to have the edge. They're going to get better rewards for spending that time to grind. Anyway, aside from that, there's not much else to say on these tomes. They're pretty straightforward. I don't think they're going to have a huge impact. People can buy T8 gathering if they want to. I don't know if it's going to be worth it because these are going to be expensive items. It's going to be a nice profit for gatherers. There's really not much else to say on them. But guys, if you liked the video, let me know in the comments if there's any subjects on the new patch that you want to see. I've been spending a lot of time on the test server checking things out. If there's something you want to see, let me know in the comments. And of course, if you like the video, help out a lot if you leave a like. Anyway, thanks and have a good one.